What's going on? I'm back for Fuck It Fridays, and we're going to debate. So send a request if you want to join. What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Tony? Guess who's back in the MF house? Request if you would like to join. Share the live, like the live, please. What's going on, Lucho? Miss Parliament, how are you? What's going on, James? What's going on? I am correct. I agree. And that is okay. You're right, Joe. But I want ops. So share the live with ops, please. Share the live, share the live, share the live. What's going on, Tony? How you doing today, man? It's a relaxing day for me, so chilling, doing what I gotta do. Just having some fun. Let's get some ops in here, guys. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Share, but all the ops are soft and probably block me. Probably. We'll get them. We'll get them. I've got a couple topics that I'm going to do today. What is a woman? Trans women are a subcategory of men. Do you have gender dysphoria? I forget the other one. Fuck. Share the live. Like the live, people. What do you guys got going on for today and this weekend? You know what? I'm going to go get my stand. Just got back from the gym. Amazing. I'm going to the gym later today. Taco Bell. No, it's bad. Make tacos at home. The real meats. If you guys want to just come up and shoot the shit for a little bit until we get an op, feel free. Or share the live, like the live. Let's get some ops in here, guys. I hope I haven't been too intimidating on TikTok recently. You know what, Joe? They in Canada we used to have the 10 taco box. That was not bad. Guys, if you're opposition, please send a request and share the live. I'm going to the gym today, tomorrow. Quit smoking cigarettes this week. It's been fucking... They're certainly men, that's for sure. I miss seeing you too, Eleanor. Here. Here's my face. I miss you guys. Yeah, if you want to see my face, just let me know. Jacqueline, keep going. It's my 5th day. You know what my wife and I have done? We've taken out $40 every single day and put it in like this piggy bank as motivation to see how much money we're saving on the daily. Guys, I'm wearing my new RawReal sweatpants. I don't know if you can see them. It's got the RawReal logo. It's pretty cool. I got the hat too. And I'm waiting for my tiny Diny sweater to come in. But this is the hat. Come on, maybe I gotta put it on. This is the hat. It's a trucker hat. It's a snapback. Yeah, I'm gonna save so much fucking money. It's unbelievable. I did the calculations. My jaw dropped, man. I mean, I just gave you how much we're saving a day. But think about it. It's like $14,600. You think? You think, Caden? What's going on, Chas? Caden, if you disagree, you can join. I don't think you disagree, though. Tell me what you didn't see. Got 64 people, guys. Thank you very much. Like and share the live. We want some opposition in here. I want to put on a show for you. Thank you. Thank you. Just one of the wrong opinions. Caden, just come on up, man. We can talk. It's all good. This ain't going to be one of those bashing fests. No, Chaz, it's spontaneous. But now that my schedule is kind of freeing up, maybe on Fridays I will come a little bit earlier, spend a little bit more time during the day. I've got a couple of debate topics. So yeah, I'll be going through them today. But if I don't get anybody I like you too, Alice, thanks. If I don't get anybody in the next couple of minutes, I think I'll just change the background. Yeah, you can join. Let me see. What's going on, Star? I think you can join. Send a request. How to join? Click on the multi-guest button, Hector. Hector, you don't have enough followers. Unfortunately, you need a minimum of 200.
Hello.
Hey, what's your name and age, please?
I'm Isabel. I'm 18.
How you doing, Isabel?
2005. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. What are your thoughts on the topic today? What's going on, Crazy
Um,
Bear?
I think trans women are trans women, women are women,
Mm-hmm.
men are men,
Mm-hmm.
and trans men are trans men.
Right. And so, do you think that trans women are a subcategory of men or a subcategory of women?
I would say men. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing against trans women or
Mm-hmm.
trans men. I'm not transphobic, but I
Mm-hmm.
would say that they are a subcategory of their own gender that they were assigned at birth, you know?
Absolutely. You are based in reality, my friend.
I am
How
indeed.
have how have these alternative debates been making you feel? Like people who have the opposite opinion of what I have.
Um, I don't really know. But I've seen a few that are like anti-abortion and stuff like that. I think that's just
Mm-hmm.
silly. And it's all men as well.
It
So,
always is. It
yeah.
always is.
Nothing
But
against
like,
men, but they are a little bit interesting in the head.
uh, we are very interesting in the head, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We got problems. Well, Isabel, thank you so much for joining. I'm really looking for opposition, but I do invite you to stick around.
Obviously, yeah.
There's going to be other topics that I'm going to roll through, but stick around, and you're more than welcome to join when we have more of an open panel.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.
I appreciate you very much. You have a great day.
You too.
Thank you very much for joining. All right, guys, you know what we're doing. We're doing ops. Just let me know if you can hear me okay, guys, because I'm using earbuds. What's up, Happy Canadian? How you doing? Make sure to share the live. Tap the screen if we can get it to 10K to save the live and hopefully push it on the For You page onto the algorithm. That'd be great. It's Fuck It Friday, guys. Last weekend I went, my dad's not doing really well, so last weekend I went and took my dad to an indoor golf place, if you want to call it, where you get to like play a full round of golf indoors, but his health hasn't been really good, so he just came to watch me play. But after one of my longest drives, I decided to do like this showboating with my driver, and the club head hit the corner of my eyebrow and it split my brow open a little bit. Luckily, I didn't, yeah, golf simulator. Luckily, I didn't have to get any stitches, but it was a little embarrassing because I was trying to showboat in front of my dad, and next thing you know, I clonk myself in the fucking eyebrow. Oh, that's okay. I appreciate that. A star is born. It's life, you know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's a little fucked up. You know, it's my dad, and we always maintain this like particular image of your father who's like this strong, independent man, provider, protector, and whatnot. And when you see them and their health starting to dissipate, it takes a bit of a toll on you. But you know, good morning, middleman. How you doing, middle? Guys, if you can share the live and get this out to opposition, I'd appreciate that. Rar, 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 rar. And if anybody's interested, go to the link in the bio to the merch store and check out the Tiny Diney sweater. Tell me if you like the design. Give me your honest feedback. I'm coming up with a new design too, so gonna tap like I'm playing. I love that. Thank you, Middle. I appreciate you. Thank you, Crazy Bird. I appreciate that. So yeah, just chilling today. Got a lot of my work done. I am Canadian. Yes, that's correct, Jack. I am Canadian. Thank you. Let me back up a bit so people can see. So yeah, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can find my. Hold on. I gotta find it. Makes it a little bit easier for me to go hands-free. Guys, if you disagree, send a request to join. If you agree, share the live. All right. Who else on the East Coast, northern East Coast, got snow yesterday? I got a shit ton of snow yesterday. We got like, I don't know what it is in inches, but it's got to be at least like 10 inches of snow yesterday. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but I always say this. I always say that rar. I always say rar, but I always say that people who take off their winter tires, especially where I'm from, in March. Yeah, it snowed yesterday in Ottawa. I always tell them to expect the last snowstorm in April. Once we get that last snowstorm in April, we're this morning. We had a couple yesterday. The electricity was flickering on and off a bit. What do you guys think? Should I change the topic? Let me see. Give me a second here, guys. Excuse me. Let's try this one. There are only two genders. Hey, Gay Santa, if you want to join, please feel free to do so. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the likes. Please share the live. We're trying to get some opposition here. It's Fuck It Fridays. So we're going to have some fun today. I did post a video the other day, actually, posting a rebuttal to the argument that sex is non-binary. So if you guys want to see that, check out the video in my bio. I'm not speaking in it. I'm playing like a 9 or 10 minute video from the Paradox Institute, and they take a very non-biased approach, very logical and scientific approach. So yeah, that's probably like I'm going to continue to do more videos like that so that we can better equip ourselves with better rebuttals. And you are wrong. These lives are needed. I do agree. These lives are needed. Why, what did April say? These lives are for views, likes, and comments. That's it. No, it's actually to have a discussion. We have actual. If you've ever been to any one of my lives, it's always about respectful decorum, challenging the ideas and not the individuals. I don't care who you are personally, just want to challenge the idea. Thank you so much for those of you who are liking and sharing the live. I really appreciate that. I'm going to be on for a couple hours, guys, so if anybody wants to join and comment on the topic, please feel free to do so. If you want to share your thoughts about content creators who make similar arguments that there are more than two genders, send up a request. We can talk about it. Hopefully we can get some opposition in here. If anybody wants to get Nate somebody send or share this live to Nate, Manimal, the usual folks, and hopefully we can get more traction in here. But I'm going to be here for a couple hours, guys. I'm not going anywhere. So if you want to join and come talk, spend the day with me, send a request. You know what to do. Mandora just wants gifts to pay his bills. Listen, I'm hearing Mandora has retired from debating. I think that's the best thing that Mandora can do. Who saw the talent show that Mandora hosted? Who saw the talent show? Sad we even have to have this debate, not about gender, about power, getting people to reject reality. That's a lie. He still debates with Mel. Oh, yeah, he still debates with Mel, but not on his platform. Yeah, the talent show was really weird. But Chaz, are they doing it on their own platform or are they doing it on someone else's platform? Middle, it was so embarrassing. I mean, there was this one woman who, look, I'll tell you if you got a voice or not. I don't have a singing voice, and my wife showed me this, and his voice was like his face. He had like no reaction, but you could just tell the words he was saying to himself in his head. But then he was like, "That was super beautiful." It was so awkward. Yeah, he's been on other platforms. Oh, really? He was on his platform yesterday, Chaz, doing debates. It's crazy. He's a flip flopper. He's a flip flopper. He's now posting Let's Talk and says it's not a debate, but it's a debate, obviously. It's ridiculous. That dude goes around to people like Elijah and makes the claim that I'm trying to deplatform them. I could give a shit what they do with their platform. Just don't claim yourself to be an educator. Come on, man. After viral TikTok video, good, because that guy's a piece of shit, Amber. I don't know who the fuck goes onto the street and just socks women in the face for no goddamn reason. So stupid. Fuck, I don't even want to do it. I give myself the ick when I do it. Can you guys hear me okay? Is the audio okay? Because I've got these earbuds on. Cool, thank you. Well, guys, I think they're scared. I think that why do you care about people's gender? I care about sex-based reality. I care about reality. I care about people in our society. So, Daddy, if you want to come up and you want to have a discussion about it, you're more than welcome to. Thanks, everybody, for confirming. Rod, do you have a soundboard for your mic setup? I do, but it's a cheap one. I tried using it yesterday, and if you were on the live yesterday, when I brought a guest on, it was pretty terrible.
Aunt Jemima just got canceled.
What's up, Andy? How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
No, I'm good. What's your age, please?
Hold up, there's some background noise. Oh no, it was on my end. All right. What'd you say?
I said, how old are you, please, for the TikTok?
Oh, 23.
Awesome, man. What are your thoughts on the topic today?
I completely agree. I think it's crazy. Like people think that there's more than two. I'm like, bro, like they don't so they'll get into like the point where they're like, oh, it's a social construct. I'm like, yes, it's a social construct that has been constructed to be two. I'm like, it's not generally recognized to be more than that. It aligns with the sexes, so it's like it doesn't make sense when they start to extend it.
Right. Exactly. I feel the same way. There are only two genders. Gender dysphoria basically proves that because it is you having an incongruence with the sex that you were assigned at birth. And so there are only two genders. I don't capitulate to the idea that there are three genders or more, nor do I capitulate to the they, them, zim, zers, or any other pronouns outside of he, she, he, him, and she, her. Gender is
Yeah,
not a spectrum. Femininity and masculinity is a spectrum. Sex is not a spectrum, but there are sex traits within the sexes that are on a spectrum. But if you want to
yeah, I
join,
completely agree.
yeah, if you want to join to debate that, Grim, please feel free to send a request. We're just going to challenge the idea. I'm not going to be attacking anybody personally. It's a friendly debate. Hey, Gay Santa's here.
And also, another important thing to distinguish is that it's a social construct which is in benefit of each of the sexes, meaning that when we say a man, it's just an identifier, another version of, instead of just referring to the sex. So when people start saying like, "Oh, there's a third gender or fifth gender," and I'm just like, based off of what? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that has no basis in society at all. That has to do with like some ideology that's outside of the collective norm of most people. So
Mm-hmm.
it makes zero sense.
Well, in actuality, throughout history and in all sorts of different
Oh,
cultures.
not this dude. I was on one of his
Oh
lives
no,
one time.
we love
This dude.
Santa. We love Santa.
Oh
Santa's
no,
amazing.
he's terrible, bro.
I love Santa. How are you, Santa?
I'm doing pretty well. I lost my cell phone and I owed $1,000 on it, and
Thank you for the roses, guys. Thank you
could
for the
have like
roses. I
remotely.
appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I can't. What was that? Somebody?
No, he was just thanking the guests for the roses. You're
Oh,
good,
okay.
Santa. Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, I got something too. Thank you. Yeah. So like, you know, if the background was there are only two sexes, that's something I agree with. But historically, and in all sorts of different cultures, there's more than two genders recognized, and I don't even know why that's a debate. And I actually think it's like kind of hard for me to understand why you would want to dismiss the
Which culture?
significance of other cultures.
Which culture?
Mhm.
Well, there's the two spirit people, the indigenous people, and then also the Hydra in India. But I mean, you could look around. There's all sorts of
Two
examples.
spirit is just a spirit, is just a spiritual thing. It's a religious thing. It has nothing
No,
to
no,
do
actually,
with
you're
identifying.
no, no,
No, the
you're not.
Hijras. Yeah, the Hijras consider themselves the third gender amongst their society. Their society recognizes three genders: man, woman, male, female, and Hijra, which is the third gender. But I don't really like that argument, Santa, because it doesn't correlate with our culture. So just because their culture has a religious belief that denotes, um, the individual as a third gender, um, I think that that's tied more to their cultural, spiritual, and religious belief, and not so much on a social construct. Does that make sense?
Well, I know that like especially with two spirit people that there are like spiritual aspects to it, but if you look at it, if you look into it, and obviously there was 1,000 different nations and all sorts of different cultural practices, but they respect like these people like it would be like a male traditionally living as a woman or a female traditionally living like a man. Like these people were celebrated. They were thought to be like gifted and having access to special knowledge. They were the people that adopted children when children were orphaned. So like yeah, I mean, and then
Yeah, but
and
that what you're describing is a
I'd like to
gender.
interject, guys.
Hold on 1 second. What you're describing is like a gender role within their society, right? And so they have a role, which is a spiritual role within their society. So what other genders within our society, and what roles do they play in our society, if not man and woman?
well, I don't understand like why you would want to not even. I mean, we could have language about having gender identities and different experiences with gender, but this idea there's only two genders, man, woman, and we're not going to look at other places and times and people's individual experience with gender, and then we recognize that like this the construct we made around male and female, but because it's constructed, there's so many, it's very subjective how you feel and experience, your identity. I don't know.
Right. Well, when we take
So
Hydra, for example, like there's utility in that gender role within their society, right? So the argument that I'm making is like, what is the utility of having more than two genders within our society?
Well, the utility of it, I don't. I mean, I guess people just being introspective and being happy people, being accepted. I don't. What you mean, like the utility of having more than two genders? I don't understand.
Right. So, like in the Hydras, for example, the utility of having that third gender is of a spiritual nature, right? I don't know much about the culture, Santa, to be quite honest with you, but my
No.
understanding is that it serves a spiritual purpose, right?
Well,
And
you know what
so,
it is? It's they're stigmatized, but then also they like bless houses and like they play a spiritual role, but they're also marginalized and stigmatized and like they could curse people and stuff too. Like it's yeah, I don't know much about it either, Raw.
So I
mhm.
just did a quick Google search of the two spirit, and yeah, it is a thing in very few Native American cultures because it actually mentioned in one of the articles that it is not even universally recognized in Native American cultures, and it was only coined in 1990. So it's not something that is ingrained in their culture for a long time.
No,
It's
Andy,
actually
But
no,
then,
no,
but
something
then,
no.
furthermore,
Okay,
but
pod
then,
the term was coined.
postmodernism.
No,
It's
you're wrong,
postmodernism.
Andy. I want to correct you. The term was coined in 1990 because indigenous people, they all spoke their own different tribal languages, and so they came up with a term in English to identify that type of person. That doesn't mean
It's
that type of person
postmodern.
came out in the 90s. No, no. This is that it's really crazy to me that you're going to say, "Oh, just a few of the indigenous cultures had this."
Yeah, just a
Um,
few.
well,
no,
I
no. I
you
think
know,
I think Santa's right on this point in that there was language that they were using within their language to describe this, and
It
we
still doesn't
adopted a term.
justify it still doesn't justify the ridiculousness of the lack of utility when we're trying to use gender as an identifier. It
Yeah,
lacks
I
so
actually,
much
two
utility.
spirit, two spirit actually, the two spirit argument furthers my argument in that the two spirit is based on masculine and feminine features, like a spirit, excuse me, either a masculine or feminine spirit. There is no other form of spirit that an indigenous person can take on. Their spirit is either a masculine one or a feminine one.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
but some things like that are
I'm not
still
an expert. I'm not
ridiculous.
an expert on it, but Andy, I want to say that, at one time, the population of America was 100% indigenous, right? Now it's less than 1% indigenous, and you're like, oh, just a few of the cultures even recognize them. Let's embrace indigenous people some more.
No, don't misquote me. Don't misquote me. I didn't say erase their culture. I never said that. What I said, it
you're
was a
saying you're
postmodern
literally.
ideal. It does not originate from back then
Yes, it
in
did,
Native
Andy.
American
This
tribes.
no,
I
this
literally just
No,
you're
it
showed you.
did.
you're so wrong.
Hold on.
This is the culture saying,
Can I interject
yeah,
there?
you're
It's funny
so
we're
wrong,
talking about
Yeah,
Andy.
we're
hold
talking
on,
about
guys. One
nature.
second. One second. So I'm going to let you interject, but I'm going to look this up on my computer as well, and we're going to get back to it in a second, Andy. But
Perfect.
just let freelance go, and then I'm going to let Roger go as well. But I'll look this up
So,
myself as well.
because it's funny you're talking here about the evolution of like society and cultures and the change of them. I mean, that is very true, and I do not think. I mean, I'm in the middle ground on this sort of gender identity sort of stuff. But in terms of like we are coming at now in the last decade alone in the Western society, there's been a huge change towards identity, members of the LGBT community, religious groups, things like this. There's been a big evolution on that, and coming back to your saying about the natives, yeah, their culture has changed and evolved over time, just like Americans have over the last 100 years. Society's changed on that. So do you not think maybe quite possibly we're just at a crossroads now of things changing again? Obviously with being more intelligent about this and more opinionated that we have in ways to discuss this. Do you guys not think possibly that we are standing in the way of the next sort of evolution in society, possibly?
I think we're taking a very philosophical approach to the way that we're addressing this, and I think we need to take a little bit more of a logical approach.
I agree.
Because
See,
yeah,
I'm a
philosophically
trans friend.
we can be whatever, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Philosophically we can even say that we don't even exist. We can dehumanize ourselves by reducing ourselves to microscopic atoms, and none of this actually matters, right? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go down the path of that type of reality because every decision that we make has a consequence,
Yeah,
whether
and
it's a
I
good
think it's the
outcome or a
case
bad
of
outcome.
overcomplicating society for no reason.
And give
Exactly.
me
And
two
do you not
seconds
think
because I just want
possibly?
to read this. I just
Okay.
want to read this quickly. 2 seconds. So, two spirit people may also use terms from their indigenous language to describe same-sex attraction or gender variants, such as winked Lakota or Nadehe, Dene, sorry. Some indigenous languages do not have terms to describe sexual identities such as gay or lesbian or bisexual. Many indigenous languages are verb focused and describe people, what people do rather than who they identify. For more information, please visit Canadian Encyclopedia. So that
Exactly.
was,
It doesn't even have to do with that third gender stuff. It's just a descriptive term that's a mistranslation to English, where it's misinterpreted at some certain times, and then the postmodern version of it is how Santa described it.
Well, can I read it a little bit too, since I
yeah,
just,
go right
yeah,
ahead.
this is from the Chat GPT. Two-spirit is a term used by some indigenous people in North America to describe individuals who embody both masculine and feminine qualities or have a gender identity or expression that differs from traditional binary notions of male or female. The term two-spirit encompasses a wide range of gender identities and roles within indigenous cultures and communities. Historically, two-spirit people played important roles in indigenous societies, often serving as mediators, healers, ceremonial leaders, or cultural specialists. They were respected members of their community and held unique spiritual and cultural significance. The thing goes on, but like I don't. I'm Andy. I'm not trying to come for you, but it feels really dismissive. Like, yeah, there's this culture that was amazing that we totally decimated. All these cultures, right? Thousands of tribes, and you're like, yeah, there's just a couple of them, and it just doesn't make sense nowadays. It is, I mean, the thing is these people were recognized as not fitting in the binary, and these people were
But Santa,
celebrated
you're not
for it.
arguing for
They weren't called
two-spirited people.
mentally
You're
ill and
arguing for
delusional,
a
right? They were
whole
like,
nother.
you make the laws, you heal us. So I just hope you get a chance to look into it more, Andy, because I still think you think that that this idea came around in the '90s. This is traditional. This is our
It doesn't
culture that
matter
they're
when it
trying to
came. I don't
preserve.
even care when it came out. The point
Yeah,
is, it
no, I
doesn't
can tell
serve
you don't care.
utility.
I don't want to have
Okay,
a
It
so
doesn't
here
conversation
serve
with
here's
someone
utility.
who doesn't
here's
care.
something
I
from
just don't
the
want to have a
indigenous.
conversation.
Here's something from the Indigenous Foundation. The concept of two spirit folk existed well before the arrival of European settlers on Turtle Island. Indigenous individuals who identified as two spirit folks were seen as gifted and honored in the community because they carried two spirits with them, both male and female. Two S folks were often the healers, medicine people, and visionaries within their given community, and they were foundational members of their culture. Much of this can be attributed to the double vision two S people are gifted with, being able to see both through the masculine and feminine lenses. But again, it's still denoting to either a feminine or masculine and no other gender outside of that. So I'm going to go with Roger. Roger, you were waiting
Hello.
patiently. How are you doing?
Ever so patient. I'm doing well.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the topic today?
Oh, that there definitely only is two genders. You're a man or you're a woman. You are a female or you are a male. Touching in with that whole two spirit thing, yes, exactly that. Like Alex just said. If you don't understand the culture, don't talk about it. Not your deal.
Exactly. Right. He's
If you
trying to
don't
act
under
like he's Native American or something. I'm like, you're trying to
yeah.
use this as a talking point. Like that's. I don't
No.
have no problem with people
And
if
even
if
then,
it's
like
part of your culture.
with two spirit, they're completely missing the point of it is one person with both feminine and masculine personalities and traits. I myself would technically qualify as a two-spirited person. I am a woman, I am a female, but holy crap, can I get down with the men?
Hmm.
Not the point. Am I going to sit there and absolutely mutilate myself and like get chems in my body to do this? I'm on hormone blockers, and let me tell you, it sucks. Is it for transition? No, it's for cancer because that's what they are used for. Not for you to
Sorry
pretend
about
to
that.
be a female or a male. It's not for you to do that. It is for cancer, for
I would
hormonal positive cancers. That
I
is
would
what
love to
it
throw
is
a
By
for
the way,
question
sure.
on
are
here
you
just for
okay?
a general discussion with everyone here. So no, I agree. There's two biological genders. I agree with that completely. But when it comes to identity, what is your opinion on that? That's what I would love to know because I'm a very good person of compromise. Because I do see what people are saying. There's only two genders, traditional roles, all that
I
stuff.
think
I
that
do
if
also
you,
see.
I
You know,
think that if
Hold
you
on, hold
ask
on,
me to
hold on,
call,
Alex.
yeah,
I want to let him finish his statement first, if you don't mind.
Yeah, because the way I see it is, I mean, at the end of the day, being whatever you want to identify as, it doesn't bother me. You know, my view on life is very simple. As long as you're nice to people, that's all that
Mhm.
matters. You know, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you're keeping to the law, that's okay. And based on one of my previous quotes earlier about saying, you know, we're at a changing point, a crossroads here at society, you may think, you know, as a sort of compromise to get around this and stop having all these, you know, long-winded debates that, you are assigned your gender at birth, but you have the choice at the age of 18 to go by a gender identity going forward. The reason I'm saying that's okay is if you want to transition, fine, that's your choice. I can't tell you what to do. That's your body. You can do what you want with that. But when it comes to like logical common sense of things like medical grounds, you know, I have a friend who's trans, and I've always said I'd be worried about you getting wheeled into a hospital after a crazy car accident because to look at you, you look female, but biologically underneath you're still male. And I do know anyone who is medically trained can confirm that there's certain levels of like plasma, blood, certain medication that needs to be specific for the gender you are applying this to. And that's my biggest fear is she would go into a hospital bleeding out and needs certain medication. She's given the female dosage, which will not be enough, and then eventually she end up, you know, killing her. So
Yeah.
that's my view. Is you know, in terms of you know, at the age of 18, you should be allowed chance to choose your identity, but you still cannot deny biology and accept your gender at birth. That is my opinion. I'd
I
love to know
agree. I
people's views
agree.
on
I
I
that.
think
hate
it's
that
I
term though, assigned at birth. Were we
confirmed at
born
birth.
with absolutely nothing, like a potato head, and the doctor picks the part and sticks it on you?
Maybe
That
the
is
Yeah,
term
we're,
I'd
we're
used
just
was
assignment.
potatoes.
yeah. Maybe the term I'd
Nobody
used there was
assigns
not
you
exactly
anything.
accurate,
You
but
just
you
were
know,
We
born.
were not
yeah,
assigned at
You're not
birth. We
assigned,
are
you're identified.
observed at birth.
okay,
When
fair
you
enough. Yeah, no, it's
choose,
fine.
no, 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 hold on, I'm still speaking. 2 seconds, and I'm landing the plane here. When you choose from being a male to female, that is gender
Mhm.
assigning. You are assigning yourself to be this
Yep,
gender. When you
for
are
sure.
born, you are not assigned at birth. You are observed at birth. We need to
Sorry,
change
guys.
that
I
logic
think
there
I
with
used the
that.
wrong
Definitely,
terminology there myself.
definitely.
I,
Sorry
I
about
That
that.
like
makes
But
to
no
use the
sense.
terms you were observed in the womb and you were confirmed at birth.
no,
Yes.
okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good one. Yeah. I like that one.
Well, I think
Yes.
born should imply. I mean that. Yeah, you know,
Well, birth
And
and
I
born,
think if
yes.
you
birth.
want so
Yeah.
badly to like become something else, I mean, you must have hatred towards a certain gender in a sense.
Not hatred, no. Just my friend, who I'm not going to name her for purposes on this, but I mean, I spoke to her about at length in this whenever she started her journey, and I was like, why do you want to do this? You know, what's your reasons behind that? And she explained, she's like, I said, I just don't feel like I'm male. That's it. I just feel like this is not the way I was supposed to be. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
but
fair enough. You know,
I don't feel like I should have been born poor. I mean, like I don't think the government should
I
have
yeah,
was
given
like,
Hey,
fifty
what are
thousand
the
President
dollars.
chances
Clark,
she's wrong though?
trillionaire, affirm
What if
my
she's wrong?
money.
Well,
Affirm my money. Let's vote
Affirm
for
my money,
Casey.
$1,000 a word to speak to me.
Yeah,
Now,
but
do
what
I
does
think
it
there's a
mean? What does
difference
it mean to be
between?
born in the wrong body, though? Right?
that's what I'm
How?
saying.
Like,
yeah.
Do you think
It
there's a
Exactly.
doesn't.
chance
No
that they
one
could
is
be
right?
wrong?
born in the wrong body. You're born in the body you're born in. Just because it's not up to your standards and what you wanted it to look like doesn't mean you have the right to go and make it something that you want it to.
Well,
Yes, we have our
so sorry.
plastic surgeries and such.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
but that's
fix
it.
your nose if you got a
Yeah, that's the
wonky
thing.
nose.
If
Yeah,
you're going to say
fix your
one thing
teeth.
about
You got some nasty teeth. But to sit
Yeah,
there and be like, oh, I don't feel like I should be a man because I want to wear, like thongs or something, that doesn't make you a woman either. That makes you a man who likes wearing
I
thongs.
think
And
that
you should
like
probably go to
we
therapy,
live in a
maybe.
Exactly.
society though where you can dress how you want. There's no problem with that. If you want to dress a little extra or whatever, that's fine. But like also like when you start like doing harmful things to yourself, like that's when like the medical community should really pump their brakes and say, hey, does this actually benefit and does it actually function like it's supposed to?
Well, I
And
wonder
I
if they
say it's a no.
question if they could be wrong. Like, I mean, you're making a huge decision. I mean, we're wrong about ourselves all the time. My self perception
it's
could
a
be
huge
wrong
decision. Yeah,
all the
you're right.
time.
It is. Yeah, but here's the deal with this. You know, and this is what I hate about today's society is everyone's very quick to judge and tell other people what to do. We're no longer allowed to be accountable for our own actions. You know what I mean? And if
No, no,
that's your
but
decision
but
that you
Well,
want to
I think
transition and then you
if
want to
you
change your
care about
mind,
humans, you may tell them the truth, whether it hurts their feelings or not.
exactly.
Right?
And
exactly.
and,
No, no,
and
Don't
I
care
mean,
about humans, and I still tell them the truth.
freelance
It
mom,
hurts.
the biggest issue with this debate is that when it comes to sports, they want to participate in the new transition, and that is detrimental
yeah,
to
I
women's
I
sports.
agree
It
with that.
is.
Now,
And
I
if
think what
you
should
tell
happen.
them that 99.9% of the time, they're gonna say, "No, this is fair for me to join," and I'm like, "No,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
It's literally
No,
quite not."
All males who transition still carry a biological advantage over
yep,
females even after HRT. All right, they
absolutely.
have
And
If you
I
go
think
through
more
that
lean
even
puberty, it
so,
doesn't
muscle.
John,
matter. Yeah.
in
Did
terms of
we not
individual
see that
sports,
transgender male that was on the college football team? Mind you, this guy was like 50, and he got
What?
onto the women's college football, or not football, volleyball team.
Wait, he's 50?
Look at the pictures. This man looks like he's 50 and is playing on a
Oh,
college ball
jeez.
team with little girls,
He
and he's
identifies as
massive, and he
22.
identifies as a woman, so he's allowed to play on the team.
Hey guys, if I can just get you to like the live, all right, get us to
oh yeah,
35K and share the live. We want to get some ops in here. Isabel, you came back. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts?
I think that there is only two genders, but if you want to be something else, you can. You're not hurting anyone.
Right.
yeah,
So, like
I
for
agree with that.
example,
But they are
if
hurting.
I'm born a male, but my body produces an overt amount of estrogen, which causes me to speak softer, which perhaps I express myself in a more softer way or a more feminine way. Does that mean that I'm not a man? Does that mean that I'm a woman, or am I just a feminine man?
I mean,
You're
it's
just a
up to
feminine
you.
man.
Yeah.
You're
Like,
just a
And
feminine man at that point.
if you
that's
want to be
perfectly
a
acceptable.
woman, that's fine. If you want to be yourself, that's fine.
Guys, if
I
you
think
want
I
to
will say
join,
this. I will say this. There's no problem if someone wants to go get a surgery.
But
If they want to pay their own money and get plastic surgery, that's fine. We're living in America. But now, when it comes to like, do I have to identify you like that? No,
That's
not
why
gonna
I'm saying
fly.
my point earlier is like, do you not think a good compromise would be is, your gender when you're born, it stays on there in your ID, but what you identify, like at the age of 18, you have the right to say, oh, I want to identify with these pronouns or this. But I mean, the debate with that is that will have to be settled later down the line, of what pronouns are appropriate and what are, ridiculous. Because to be honest with you, the amount of pronouns that are going around are ridiculous are a bit crazy,
I
But
think
if
it's
we confine
fair.
it down to maybe about, I mean, it's not too much of a stretch to say, like, I mean, I know it sounds a bit weird saying this, but onto the sports issue as well, it's not too much to say that you could add on an extra pronoun, like, well, I've seen recently in legal documents people being not referred to as Mister or Mrs. but MX, things like that. It's not a big much of a deal, for that to happen. Things with the sports as well. I mean, I think you're right with the whole thing with the men transitioning to female and competing in female sports. There is a biological advantage there, 100%. That's
every
science.
single
That's
time.
not. Yeah,
Yep,
that's science. That you can't dispute that.
they have longer and thicker femur bones and bones in general. They have they have much more leaner muscle, less body fat. They have 30% more lung capacity than females do. There are a plethora of different markers where men are at an advantage in every single area,
I mean, we can
regardless
But
see
of.
plain
but to go around
examples of where
this,
like the best female soccer players in the world get beat by high school boys every year.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Now, to
Yeah.
get around this, that's the point I'm trying to say. To get around this, we're not going to get around this by saying, "Oh, you have to compete with the man or you have to compete with the woman." That's not going to work because that's going to cause more problems. That's why I'm saying maybe a third or fourth category of
Yeah,
for
like a league of
transitions.
their
Like,
own. Like, there's no
yeah,
issue with
exactly, and
that.
I think that would be fair. And also, it gives a chance for our countries to compete at the likes of the Olympics or
And I hate when they will
athletics.
argue. I've spoken to many panels like with people like that, and I've said why not a league of your own, and they're like they try to. I'm like, how dare they? But they'll compare it to segregation. I'm like, don't even do that.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like, that is
know.
a
Why they
whole
do that?
It's
different
not
thing.
segregation.
I was
If
like,
you
that
want,
is not
well,
That's
segregation.
like
You
saying the
decided to
Paralympics.
go
We made the
undergo this
Paralympics
surgery.
because we're segregating them.
Yeah, it makes
yeah,
more sense.
that's
Guys,
it.
can I
Yeah,
drop? Can I
precisely.
cycle
We
off
wanted to
one
give them
person? I
their
got.
own
Hold on, guys. I
opportunity.
got someone in the request. Can I cycle off one person quickly?
I tell you what, I will leave. I thought this was fantastic. I need to crack on with my work here, but thanks for having me and keep safe, guys. Okay.
Thank you. Please come again. All right, freelance. I appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Keep safe.
Absolutely. Kate, thank you so much for your patience. What are your thoughts on the topic today?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with person John Money.
Howdy.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
One
John Money.
second, Dusk. Yeah, go right ahead,
He
Kay.
proved his own
Sorry,
theory.
Kay. Just for the live, how old are you?
I am 27 years old.
Okay, thank you. Please carry on.
Okay, so the person, John Money, he did a,
This is the Alpha's jungle.
I'm sorry, I hear somebody else talking.
It's okay. I'm booting them because it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, anyway, so John Money was a person that did an experiment on twins,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the person that coined the term gender in 1855.
Correct.
And with that being said, he had a set of twins, and he made one was kind of like I think it was he was castrated when he was born or had some issues with his
Yeah,
circumcision when he was
he had
born.
a botched circumcision, and what John
Yeah,
Money did was he approached the parents and he convinced the parents to transition the child immediately, not tell the other sibling that they were born a boy, but to affirm that they were a female. So they did reconstructive surgery on the baby, which caused a plethora of problems. They later on, the father ended up telling the son that they were born male.
yeah,
The other sibling ended up unaliving themselves
yeah.
as a result of this, but this person then detransitioned, then got married, had a family, but also
Ended up
perished.
killing him.
But
Yeah,
the one
ended up
thing that I will
unaliving
say
him.
about John Money was John Money's focus was on having masculine women being accepted by people in society, because during those times women were expected to be feminine.
Yeah,
And this was around, I believe, the industrial era, where women were starting to come back into the workspace after the World War. And there were some women that were just being rejected by society because they were masculine, and so he wanted to challenge this idea, and this is how it all began.
yes, correct. But John Money was, I understand that point of John Money, but John Money was not also a good guy when it comes to uh when I say kids, I mean kids.
Yeah,
But
well,
his
he took
studies
pictures
are,
and videos of those twins, and we know
and
all about
and
that
that's where we
horrendous
get
stuff.
this notion of gender. It's okay for women to be masculine and for women to be masculine and men to be feminine, and you can
Yeah,
still
for
live in
sure.
society as a man or a woman
Yep.
and still have that be a masculine or feminine, and that's okay. And that's why I don't get about transgender people, because you can do what you want to do, and being wearing makeup doesn't make you a woman. Wearing a wig does not make you a woman.
But I will say it is a good
Doesn't make
thing
you a
to
woman.
note that I think that sometimes these things do come from conservative households where they're like, oh, you're acting too feminine, you're acting too masculine, whatever like gender there, and that actually can cause like a confusion and then a transition later on.
So I am definitely more conservative than I used to be. On the more conservative leaning side. Um, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell my son, well, you're acting, this way or that way.
Yeah,
And
because it's not
I do have
healthy
a
to over like badger with that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm not sitting here saying, well, you have to be straight or you have to do, that is their decision. And my issue is the fact that people are putting it onto children at a very young age when you
Yep,
should just letting children be children. And like it's bad on both parts. It's bad on
exactly.
the conservative side when you have conservative families forcing their kids to be straight, and it's bad when they are forcing their kids to transition at these young ages where they have not even experienced life yet, nor puberty at all. And so that's why we should have some type of middle ground and just like, hey, just let kids be kids and
Yep.
they'll figure it out on their own.
Have you guys
Um,
heard of the case of Jazz Jennings?
Yep.
yes, I have.
So
Yes, I
he
have.
transitioned, I think it was like 7 years old, and then it went wrong, and now they never went through a puberty, I think it was, and now they don't even have a libido. So they're
Yep.
completely ruined. Like they're just very messed up in their head.
All right. Thank you for that, Brooke. I know you've been waiting for a while. You're on pause, but do you want to come back and chime in?
You're talking to me.
Brooke.
I don't
Yeah,
know
Brooke, you're on. Yeah, go ahead.
not to be a dick, but I don't know why nobody can get this. But there's an S on there. That's Brooks, not Brooke.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brooke.
It's cool. You're
I'm
not
sorry,
for
Brooke.
some reason nobody can get that. I don't know why.
Brooks.
Yeah,
I'm not even looking
like
at my
Brooks
like it's
Kepka,
far away from me. Yeah,
It's
my bad,
cool.
my bad.
Uh,
What are your thoughts on the topic, Brooks?
yeah, I mean, there's only two genders. I just, I think, especially with all that, with the John Money stuff, I mean, I think he kind of proved his own point wrong. I mean, it's and then obviously did a detriment to that child, and I think that's what some of these parents are doing. I mean, some of these parents need to be, some of they either need to be arrested or something. I mean, to do this to your child. I mean, it's just
What do you
crazy.
guys think about that non-binary stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't
that's
make any
not
sense
valid.
It,
Right? It
Not
makes
valid. What
zero
are
sense. I'm
Yeah,
like, what?
I
because
feel it, but
gender
I
is
don't
binary. So
get it. Like I don't understand this whole ness of it because everyone's like, "Oh, women have to act feminine, men have to act masculine." What is feminine and masculine? Because I'm sitting here like I enjoy everything. I go and play in
Yeah,
the I
literally.
go and shoot
They
guns.
they
I
they
go and
could
ride
think, yeah,
quads. I go and drink beer, but I'm a woman. So
that if
by
they're a
their
tomboy and
standards and
yeah,
by their thoughts, I would be a trans man, but I'm not.
they
yeah.
think that if you're a tomboy and like I guess like a girly girl, like you must be what are they
Yeah.
whatever they call it.
I am a heckin' masculine woman. Like, I make more friends with guys than I do women, because, yeah, the women are like, oh, you're not feminine enough for us. It's like, what does that even mean? I get dressed
Yeah.
up, I wear dresses, I wear my makeup, I go out and do this, I'm a mother, I do that. Like, what part of me is
Roger, margaritas or beer?
Hey
both?
Andy,
Margaritas.
do you mind if I cycle you out for somebody?
Yeah,
Come
that's
back in the
fine. That's
request.
fine.
I'll bring you right back
Let me
up
know.
after. All right. Appreciate you.
Beer garitas, Andy. Margaritas with beer.
All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Shane, you're coming on up next. But John, I want to give you an opportunity. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
What are your thoughts?
Hey, what's
Hey,
up,
John.
brother? How you doing?
I'm doing
Doing
great. How
good?
about yourself?
what's up, brother? Yeah.
Okay, so
What's up, bro?
my take on this is an obvious sign of mental health issues, and it's being caused by factory farming. We are flooding our children with animals and animal hormones. And I mean, what could go wrong when we're flooding kids with estrogen and then wondering why they get
I'm
confused?
right there with you, John.
I mean, it's preposterous. I mean, we are plant eaters. We have flat teeth. We have a brain that runs on glycogen. I mean, all the violence we promote
Iba.
is coming to our kids now, you know? Like, don't give your kids hormones. If you want to eat stupid stuff, like, I get it, but at least feed your kids properly and teach them how to eat right. Don't teach them what the corporations want you to think. Like, I mean, we're plant eaters. We have long digestive tracts.
1
We're
second,
just,
Brooks. I'm swapping you out, but come back in the request, okay?
oh no, I just think it's
Sounds good. Appreciate
incredibly weird. What do you guys think?
Oh,
Give me a second.
I am always in agreement with that I hate saying it this way, the big pharma thing. Anything that they can get to make you take a pill and pump yourself full of any sort of chemicals and drugs that they make, they'll love you for it. You are their pockets, you are their coin. They will force and shove any issue down your throat as long as you buy that chem.
Yeah, I mean, pharmaceutical companies right now have a reputation, not a very good one. I don't want to take away from some of the things that they've actually done, but right now, as it stands, in my personal opinion, they're just looking for a different demographic to make money off of, and so that's just my thoughts on like when it comes to like gender affirming care, of course. Yeah, Dusk, I'll get to you in a minute. But before I get to Avani, I want to open it up to Pound Cake and Fringe. So Pound Cake, you're going to go first, then Fringe, and then I'm going to bring up Miss Avani, who has a compelling argument.
Yeah, I'm not opposition by any stretch of the imagination. I do believe that there are only two genders. But the thing I wanted to bring up was something that was mentioned earlier, that all of this started with John Money. That actually goes much, much farther back than him. We can look to an individual named Harry Benjamin and the Harry Benjamin Institute for Gender Identity Disorder, which eventually down the line, it morphed into what is now known as the W Path. And, kind of piecing together a few different things here. Marcy Bowers is the current CEO, sitting board member of the W Path, and she is the trans doctor that performed these surgeries on Jazz Jennings. and has kind of been following that process along the entire way. Jazz Jennings was placed on puberty blockers roughly around Tanner stage 2, and because there was not enough genetic material to be produced.
How we doing, brother?
Give me a second, Dusk. I'm going to put you on mute because I want to let the others
No
talk,
problem,
but I'm going
brother.
to get to you.
Sounds like a child.
Yeah, so Jazz Jennings has had 6 revision surgeries now because there was not enough genetic material present to actually create the neo-vagina that they needed. And Jazz Jennings, as someone mentioned earlier, now identifies themselves as asexual. There are video recordings of Jazz's mother, trying to force her to use her dilator, essentially, because she would not use
How
it.
far I just heard?
We can make assertions that it was due to pain, it was due to whatever, but they now identify as asexual because, why would you want
Love,
to
dude.
associate
Okay,
any
please
kind of
stop that.
pleasure with situations like that?
Agreed.
All right, thank you for that. Fringe, you're next.
I'm gonna poke and prod here. Dust, you sound
The
like you're
problem to the society is not, it's not what we're feeding,
Sorry.
we need to be woke. We need to see.
This is a child.
Okay, Dusk, you're done. Sorry, go ahead, Fringe.
Hi guys. So yeah, I agree. There is only 2 genders, but I think what the problem is that they're addressing saying okay, they're affirming people, but they're not addressing the mental health issue. You have no idea. What they should do is take care of the mind. And then the mind will take care of the body, because I feel like that's being dismissed. That's not even being talked about. You don't know, as a child, you grow up, you get confused. Everybody gets that. Is some women more masculine than some men? Yeah, I agree. Like I honestly, I was a tomboy, what they used to call us, and I don't care. I'm still a woman. And I think that society has played a part in, you need to be more masculine or you need to be more feminine. I think that we all have these traits and we should embrace them and let the people live in the body that they're born with. And if a man wants to be more feminine, so let him. If a woman wants to be more masculine, let her. What is that? That's the label. You're just being you. If I happen to like football as opposed to whatever girly girl thing there is, or getting my nails done, then I should be able to watch football and say, I love football, like whatever. So I think that it's mainly what they should do is address the mental aspect of it instead of rushing into doing anything with children, because children should be left alone to be kids. My daughter thought she was a cat when she was little. What did I do? Did I make her go in a litter box and tell her she's a cat? No, I just let her be a kid. I bought her a cat. She got over it, but I'm not gonna, fine, honey, whatever. Like everybody goes through that sort of thing, But I just think that it's the mental aspect that we should be taking care of people. Mental health is not addressed properly in this country, and they have once a year bell mental health, and they think that does it. Like, no, that should be addressed all the time. I think that's what is missing, and I feel like you'd have more answers if people really stop pushing these things, because I believe that follow the money and you'll get your answers. But anyways, I just wanted to add that, and thanks for your live. You're awesome, and I love hearing everybody. I'll drop down though, because I'm sure you got other people that want to come up, so drop me. Thank you
I
guys.
appreciate you, Fringe. I appreciate you. You keep coming up, all right?
If I could just inject for 2 seconds about the mental health aspect.
Go ahead, and then I'm going to open it up to Avani.
Yep, definitely for Bunny. So when it comes to when we're looking at the overall big broad brush stroke of what it is to be trans, there is a psychologically trans person. Okay, there is a brain body disconnect. There are people that have a mental condition where they do not feel that they are in the right body. That does exist, but we have another aspect that we need to look at.
No, there's not. Trans people don't exist. Trans people don't exist. There's only boy and girl.
Sorry about
Okay,
that.
so and then we have this. That's all right. I'll make it quick. We have the sociological aspect of what it means to be trans, and that is the gender nonconformity that exists through ages. Okay, that has always been there. People represent different versions of masculinity and femininity, but it's masking itself as a psychological condition, right? And this all stems from people like Harry Benjamin, John Money, Alfred Kinsey, Michael Foucault. There's a huge laundry list of names of these gender ideologues that essentially have woven their way into academia. They've woven activism into academia, and this is the stem from where these ideas come from. Okay, so there's the psychologically trans and the sociologically trans, yet somehow they feel that they intermingle with one another. And when these ideas get passed down to kids, it becomes a trend. Therefore, I'm trans, so what should I do? I should get on the conveyor belt. I'm going to get on hormone blockers in case I go through the wrong puberty. I'm going to start HRT. I'm going to start doing this. And it's just a conveyor belt to the very end. And so much harm ends up coming from this. Rant
Yeah,
over.
if we understand the WPATH's recommendations and guidelines, it's months and months of evaluation through psychotherapy to verify that the incongruence is persistent, insistent, and consistent. But when we hear stories that people are fast tracked after one evaluation, after an hour of evaluation, that's deeply concerning to me, and it does speak to the conveyor belt argument in that they're just simply putting patients who may or may not have gender dysphoria onto gender affirming care. So I appreciate that. Avani, I heard you in the comments say there are more than two genders. So give me your thoughts. And thanks
Yeah,
for joining.
it was kind of it was kind of a joke, but my thought process is just that there's men, women, and hillbillies.
Oh
Um,
my God. Avani's based.
I'm sorry, but hillbillies are their own like little like subcategory. Like they must have their own
Yeah.
sperm too, because listen, they're just different. They're
But
just different. I'm
give
just
me your
saying.
real argument for people who claim there are more than two genders. Because you articulate it really, really well, and I want to clip it.
Oh, you want to clip it?
Yeah. No,
Yeah, yeah.
pressure. No
I'll give.
pressure.
Yeah, yeah, so I would just say that because language is malleable, I mean, we understand language to be very malleable. I could just conceive like a third gender to mean like a certain thing. Like I could just say that like, for example, a demi boy, right? I could use the example of a demi boy just being someone that is both masculine and feminine. And so therefore they're
Me.
by class a
Skibidi
third
baskibidi.
gender. They're by class a third gender, just based on like language and like the description.
But they wouldn't be classified as a third gender, right? I mean, yeah, it is malleable, but the reality is that there are only two genders. And so even if there is a femboy, which I think is a feminine man or feminine boy, you're still a man, right? You're still a boy. You're still of the male sex. And that
Well, what
doesn't
we're
change your
describing,
gender.
well, what we're describing, like, would you agree that like men and women are two different concepts?
Would I agree that men and women are two different concepts? Can you
Yeah.
give me context?
Right. So like, would you agree that like they wouldn't be the same?
Correct. They're not the same.
Okay, yeah. So all I'm really doing is pointing to a third gender
Skibidi.
that isn't the same as man or woman, right? So
Sorry, say
like
that again.
all I'm doing is pointing to a third gender that like it's not the same as women or men, right? I'm
No.
providing a
But
different
what are you
concept
pointing?
of the gender of like a demi boy.
So, but what is that third gender then?
Skibidi
Is the third
boots.
gender? Shane, are you serious or are you here to troll? Just let me know. Shane, are you here to troll? You're muted.
Excuse me.
Are you here to troll, my guy?
No.
No. Okay, hang tight because I'll get to you in a second.
All right.
So Vani, what are we classifying this third gender as? If we're going to identify a third gender as a particular sex that is expressing in the opposite sex, what do we call that third gender?
Right. So like this third gender would just be like I said, a demi boy. Like I would call it a demi boy.
Well, you
That's
have
how I'm
demi boy and you have
conceptualizing this third gender. They're just
wait. Don't.
someone that like is in
What
between.
is a masculine female referred to? You have femboy, which is a feminine boy, but what is the masculine female term?
Well, I would say masculinity does wouldn't equal like what I'm saying because what I'm saying is someone that would be like, for example, a male but has female features.
What kind of features are you referring to?
Yeah, so I would just say like, for example, how C's like often describes like his non-binaryism, like which I believe doesn't exist, right? But like he
Oh,
wants like
cease to
female
know?
breasts.
Are you
Yeah,
referencing cease to know? That guy's a joke. He thinks he
yeah,
runs
no.
circles around everybody. It's the hamster in his head that's running circles.
No, listen, but like you know how he wants like his boobs, you know, his female boobs and like of a JJ, but like he wants to
Yeah.
like remain masculine. Yeah, so that would be like a demi boy. Like he's like yeah, he's his body, but I would just say that like this would be like this could be under the classification of new gender.
No, I reject. I reject because it's not coherent. I can't use it to distinguish I can't distinguish that gender through language. Can you give me an example of how I could?
Yeah, you can. Like, for example, if you have three people in a room and you have a demi boy, you have a man and a woman, you know what a man and a woman look like. And they're just like being an adult human male or adult human female. But the demi boy is gonna be an adult human male with female features. They're gonna have boobs and they're gonna have like a lot of feminized I would say a lot of feminized features that I could go on that I can't say here on TikTok. So you would be able to distinguish them from each other.
Yeah, but I would just still characterize them as a man, whether you're a feminine man or not.
I mean, you
Whether you
could.
have those features or not. I mean, listen, you could have a female walking around with a jockstrap and could be, presenting very masculinely. That's still a woman, and I wouldn't treat them any differently than a woman. And same thing goes for a man. Like I would hold the door open for a butch lesbian first, but I would walk through the door first if a femboy was walking into the same space as me.
Wait, I'm
Or what do you
confused.
think?
How does that negate anything that I said?
How does that, sorry, ask your question. I don't know if I even made sense here, right?
Yeah,
But
how does that
ask your
negate
question again.
anything that I said? Why are you getting me to argue something I don't believe in? That's
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, but
Did you
let's
clip
move
it
it. Let's
though?
open it up to Shane. Yeah, I understood, but let's move it on to Shane. Shane, what did
I've
you
been
want to
here
say? What
before,
did you want to?
Shane.
No,
I've been
just
here
be
before.
quiet. I'm next. He already said it.
Dad, can you give me some chocolate?
Okay, sorry.
Go
This guy's
go
being
Shane.
annoying.
Dad, let me go to the park.
Dude, can you back up,
Okay,
please? All right.
you got 3 seconds, man. You either got something to contribute or you don't.
All right. Well, personally, I love, I just love BBC. Like, I can't.
This guy waited this whole time just to say that bullshit. Saros and then customer support.
Thank you so much. So
You're
I was
welcome.
said I've been waiting before him, and he came up just to say that. But
I'm
so
sorry. My bad.
can I ask you, what are the two genders?
Two genders, male and female.
No,
Man
gender,
and woman.
not
Excuse me.
sex. I said gender, not sex.
Yeah, man and woman.
Sure. So, baby, what is a baby then?
A baby is a child. It's